Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to talk about our old friends, the McCloskeys, because they are in the news again. If you don't remember, the McCloskeys were a husband and wife team in St. Louis who got in quite a bit of trouble for pointing guns at protesters after the protesters had come into a gated community. They were charged with brandishing and a lot of other offenses, some of which could have been felony level offenses, could have got them in a lot of trouble. Although I think the only thing they were actually guilty of, the only crime they committed that day, was the world's worst Charlie's Angels impersonation. That was just horrible. For one, they're missing a person. There's 3 angels. There were hundreds of people in front of you right then. You couldn't have gotten one person to volunteer to come and be Jacqueline Smith or something. Or were y'all going to fight over who got to be fair? I don't know. But like I said, worst Charlie's Angels impression ever, and you should be ashamed. But as far as the other crimes, I didn't see anything they actually did wrong, other than technique and how the wife brandished her weapon. But I thought they felt totally justified in feeling threatened at that time and defending their property. No one was harmed. They didn't even threaten to harm anyone. They just went out there and was like, whatever. And there were a lot of things wrong tactically with what they did. But legally, I just don't really see much problem with it. But they took a plea deal just now and recently. And a lot of people are upset, especially people in the gun community are upset that they took this plea deal. I'm getting a lot of people asking me questions in my live chat, sending me emails, etc., saying, what do I think of this? Because, they surrendered the AR and they copped guilty to these misdemeanors and blah, blah, blah. And do you think they did the right thing, or should they have stood up and fought for the Second Amendment and actually gone to court on this? And that's the whole point of contention I think a lot of people have. Seems to be a common thread there. They're upset that they gave up their weapons, that they pled guilty as if they did something wrong that day, and that they didn't stand up and fight for the Second Amendment, to fight for everybody else's rights. Since they were harmed, they would have standing and they could, sue and win back our rights or something. Well, that's just not applicable in this case. In this case, I think they did the right thing by plea bargaining. And first off, let's remember, they're both attorneys, wealthy attorneys. So they had a lot to lose if they got convicted. If they got one felony count. For one, they wouldn't be able to own firearms anymore. And 2, they could lose their legal licenses. They could be out in the cold. They could go from being wealthy people to, I don't know what I'm going to do next, because they've lost their livelihood. So that was a really big risk for them to take. But a lot of people still are like, well, they should have taken it before they surrendered their guns and didn't fight for the second. Well, for one, surrendering that AR and that pistol that was only there as part of a case, it wasn't even their own property. It was something that they had for another lawsuit. Surrendering those to them means nothing. These are millionaires. Remember that. They're wealthy people. Surrendering that AR as evidence to him is like, that's my spare, so whatever. And since he did that, he has bought another AR. He went out and bought a brand new one because the plea deal doesn't prevent him from doing that because he pleaded to misdemeanors. And being an attorney, he knew that was the best route for him to go. They're not risking their law license. They're not losing their right to defend themselves. They had to pay some fines, which, like I said, not a big deal to them. They have money. So they decided it's not worth the effort. It's not worth the problems, and it's not worth the risk. And I can fully 100% understand that. Not only understand it, but support it in this situation. Like I said, giving the gun away, not a problem. They can get another one. In fact, he already has. Paying the fines, they can afford it. And now they don't risk losing their law license, losing their home, losing whatever, getting to be felons, losing their right to defend themselves. So they made the right choice. And as far as that, well, they should have still taken their personal risk and fought for the Second Amendment. Well, unless you've been in that situation where you're like, I can fight for the Second Amendment and possibly spend the rest of my life in jail, or I can pay $200 fine and walk away and admit I did something wrong. Unless you've been in that situation, you can't really judge someone else. But here's the thing. In this situation, there was nothing to fight. There was no win to be had. There was no victory. If they had gone to court, they risked being found guilty of felonies, but they didn't have any potential victory. Even if they were found not guilty, all they would have saved was a few $1,000s in fines and an AR, which doesn't mean much to them. That's the big victory. They wouldn't have had to pay the fines and they wouldn't have had to surrender the AR. That's all they would have won. There's no grand battle for the Second Amendment here. There's no rights that they were being denied that they exercised. And then, we could challenge and say, oh, that law that says they can't do this is unjust. Because there was no unjust law here. They were charged with doing something illegal with a firearm. The firearm itself wasn't illegal. They were being charged based on their behavior. And that can go either way depending on how a court sees it. The jury can decide they were unreasonable or they were reasonable. But even if the jury decided, if they went to court and the jury decided they were reasonable in what they did, that would change no laws. Would recover no rights for anyone. There would be no payoff. There would be no victory. There was nothing here we were fighting. It wasn't like they were fighting a magazine limit, or they'd been convicted for owning a gun that was not on the register or something, where they could actually go and sue and go, hey, the register itself is unconstitutional and therefore I shouldn't be guilty, and have the register overturned because of their victory. There was nothing like that at stake here. It was their judgment that was being called into question in the court case, and how they utilized firearms. Nothing about the firearms themselves or their right to bear arms or anything. None of that was in question in this case. It was purely, did they do the right thing in that time? And if the jury had said, nah, that's never an excuse to point guns at people on the street, no matter whether you feel threatened or not, they could have lost everything. They had that risk. That was definitely there in their mind. They're attorneys. They know the right thing to do. And they're like, it's not worth it. Because if they had won, all they would have won is they wouldn't go to jail. They wouldn't be convicted. They wouldn't pay a fine. They wouldn't have the gun confiscated, like I said already. So they decided this little piddly thing that doesn't matter to them is worth not risking everything they have, and I don't blame them. So even though, like I said, I think they are guilty of some really bad taste things, that, like I said, worst Charlie's Angels impression ever, I don't really, and I think they really made some tactical judgments that were bad. I have a video on that. You can go back and watch where I think what they did wrong. I'll put a link in the upper corner here that you can go back and link and watch that video, and I'll tell you what I thought they did wrong tactically. But legally, I don't think they did anything wrong. Morally, I don't think they did anything wrong. And them plea dealing, to me, isn't them admitting that they did something wrong. It's just them saying it ain't worth the risk. And since there's no victory to be had here for the Second Amendment, why bother? So I think they made the right decision, and I think people need to realize that and cut them a break. All right, everybody, with that being said, I want to move on to my favorite part of the show, which is, I think you all know what it is, it's gun talk. And today, I want to talk about an accessory, because I have recently been trying out an accessory on some of my firearms, and I love it. It's something that was the topic of discussion in one of our live chats a while back, and I decided to go ahead and get one. And since I have, I'm just amazed with it. Now, people might be surprised that I love this item because it is kind of an eyesore on the gun. I'm going to admit that right off the bat. A little bit of an eyesore. And in the past, my OCD probably wouldn't have allowed me to tolerate it. But it is so functional, and I like to think I've grown as a person a little bit, that I am just going to highly recommend it to anyone. And what I'm talking about is the gas pedals. I don't know if you've seen these before. The first gun I ever had that had one on it was a CZ. I believe it was my tactical orange, I like to call it. It had one of the bolt-on styles, I do believe. It actually bolts onto the side of the gun because they come in different styles. And, I don't really shoot that gun a lot, so I didn't really think much about it one way or the other. It did look like a little bit of an eyesore, kind of bolted on there. But people started suggesting I should get one for my P320 when they saw that I had the AXG Scorpion. So I did. I ordered one. And I'm going to have to say, it's freaking awesome. I put it on my Classic here. And I actually had it on my Scorpion while I was shooting my Scorpion, but I have moved it over to this one now, considering if I carry this gun, it'll be this one I carry. And it really makes a huge difference. If you're not familiar with it, it's just a little place that when you're doing your thumbs forward grip, you put your thumb on it. It really gives you a place to put that thumb. Instead of just having it rest lightly on the side of the slide, you got a place where you could actually use the strength of that thumb to actually control the recoil of the gun. So it is really a nice addition to the gun. Even though, like I said, it does kind of stick out like a sore thumb, not the prettiest thing in the world, it functions so well that I'm way beyond willing to overlook that, because it just makes it much more enjoyable to shoot the gun. Really controls that recoil. I know this is just 9mm, so it's not heavy recoil, but with this, just that little bit of extra grip there, recoil is almost non-existent on this gun. Follow-up shots are very quick, very accurate. Well, as accurate as I can be. Let's face it, I ain't gonna win any competitions with my accuracy, but I get the job done, and this does help. So I'm going to have to say these gas pedals are an awesome idea. Now, people call them gas pedals because, you push down on it and then you go, go, go. I almost think of it as a brake pedal because it kind of puts a stop to the recoil. But either way you look at it, these are just awesome. And I really like the way they are done on the P320 here, because you don't have to bolt something onto the frame. It doesn't have to be an add-on thing that just looks out of place. It actually replaces the takedown lever. You just take the normal takedown lever, the stock one it comes with it out, toss it in the box for the gun, and replace it with this. And it does stick out a little more. It is a little bit more noticeable, but functionality really wins over aesthetics here, because, like I say, it is so functional. It is so awesome. I haven't enjoyed an accessory this much in a long time, or found an accessory this functional in a long time. Most accessories are like, there's arguments to have them, arguments to not have them. I can see both sides of the argument. I can be like, do what you want to do, take it or leave it. Not going to say one thing or another about it, or one way or the other specifically about it, because, it's all subjective. This, I don't think there's a negative to this. I don't think anyone out there could say, well, the bad side of these is this. I can't find a bad side to this. Usually I can find a downside to anything, lights on guns, anything. But this, it's all positive as far as I'm concerned. Other than I said, a little bit of an aesthetics thing. But now that it's been on this gun for a week and a half now for me, on a gun for a week and a half, I'm getting kind of used to it. Don't even hardly notice it now. So I'm going to have to say these gas pedal attachments, especially for the SIG P320s, the PIG 320s as I call them, they're just awesome. And if you have a P320 you carry, definitely look into getting one of these. They just make a huge difference at the range. Now, if you have a leather holster, you're probably not going to have a problem with this. It'll probably just stretch the leather a little bit. If you have a Kydex holster, you might have to heat the back of your Kydex holster a little bit, put this in with the thing on it once before you start carrying it that way to adjust the Kydex a little bit, but it takes 5 minutes. So you might have to do a little holster adjustment. Unless you carry leather, then you probably won't have to. But these are a total positive. I give them a total thumbs up endorsement, because since I've been using this on this gun, I'd hate to go back to not using it. So, and I would say, like I say, if I can put up with it, if it's functional enough that it makes me not care how it looks, well, I don't think you'll have any problem with it at all. I think you'll really enjoy it. If you put one on your gun, I think you'll really be glad you did. All right, everybody, I want to close the show today by reminding everyone that we are doing the hat giveaway over on the TYMPPistolProject.com. If you want to go over there, there's a link in the upper corner of this video to that as well. If you go over and you donate $5 or more to the animal charities we're supporting right now, you will get entered into a drawing for a hat every day. So if you donate $20 today, you get 4 entries for today. And it runs from 5 p.m. one day to 5 p.m. the next day. Then I have to compile the list, and then I give the hat away that night in the live chat. Now, we forgot last night because Never Enough Ammo distracted me. But I'll do 2 tonight, one for people who donated yesterday, and one, or day before yesterday, one for people who donated yesterday through today. So keep your eyes open for that. Come to the live chat if you want to do it. But I also want to announce that we have now also funded the surgery for Natasha, the little Pomeranian. We started off just trying to get enough money to get Max's surgery done, and the Boston Terrier. We got that done. So then we moved on to Natasha. Now that's done. And I've still got a lot of hats to give away. So I'm going to keep going. Going over, we're going to find another animal in need. We're going to take care of them too. I think we'll actually be able to fully take care of another animal. Maybe I'll take suggestions from viewers. We'll find someone that needs it. Whatever we raise from now on will be free money to go toward whichever animal we choose. If I have one in mind, I have a lead on one right now. And if I choose that one, I'll let you know tomorrow that that's the new project. But like I said, we've already provided the surgery necessary for 2 animals. Over $4,000 we've raised. Well, around $4,000. It's almost $4,000. I think it's $3,985. Now, the one surgery for Natasha, they did end up needing a little bit more money because of medications, and I have promised them that money because they didn't add medications to the cost of the surgery. So I have promised them that, so we got that to go, but we've pretty much got that raised too. So thanks to everyone out there. Your great generosity has provided care for 2 animals in desperate need, one that was suffering daily, one that's on the mend now thanks to the TYMP Pistol Project, or the TYM Posse. I can't thank you all enough. It never ceases to amaze me how much we accomplish when we do stuff like this. And I don't know when I'm finally going to stop being amazed when these people step up, because they always step up. I think gun community, like I said, we love animals more than we do people. So, unless, we like people too sometimes, as long as they're over there. But we really love our animals, and it's awesome. And I love taking the credit for this when I donate the money. So, although I always do put it from the TYMP Posse. But just want to let everyone know we have funded 2 surgeries. We're going to go for a 3rd. We're going to go for another animal in need. See what we can do there. Because like I say, I've still got 5 hats to give away. I don't need 5 of these hats. So if you want a shot at one of these hats and you want to help an animal in need, and there's only 12 of these in existence, period. That's all that's ever been made of this hat. So you'll be one of 12 people total wearing one of these, and one of those people is me. And if people some people have asked me, well, if I win the hat, will you sign it? I mean, I don't know why you'd want me to ruin your hat. But I mean, I guess I could sign the bill of the hat or something, but I would hate to ruin the hat. But just so I say. But like I said, if you want a chance at one of these, go over, donate $5 or more. For every $5 you donate, you get 1 entry that day between 5 p.m. and 5 p.m. the next day. And we'll draw that hat in the live chat every night, on nights I can actually remember. But we'll get them all given away. And then we'll put the money to good use. We've already been putting it to good use. We've already helped 2 animals. Let's help some more. And with you getting behind us on this, I think we will help another animal. So like I said, I want to say thank you to everyone who's already participated. Thank you to those that are going to participate. Let's keep going. Let's see if we can help another animal before we give away all the hats. All right, everybody, that's our chat for today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come back again tomorrow. Until then, I just want to sign off as usual by saying, as far as the state of the world today is concerned, it is what it is. It could be a lot worse, but it could be better. And what it will be if we continue to ignore the fearmongers, the profiteers, the people that want to manipulate you to serve their own selfish interests, the people who want to work for the industry, not for the people. If we keep in mind where they're coming from and don't pay too much attention to them, and fight smart and hard for our rights in this country, what things will be for those of us in the gun community and those of us that agree or believe in freedom in general, what things will be in the very near future is better.